a lot of men are now leaving it up to women to ask for their phone number, pursue them, holler at them. Is it the Me Too movement that this shit up?
He was like, oh no, like the reason why men don't go up to girls anymore is because of the Me Too movement. The Me Too, the sexual assault? What are we talking about? The Me Too movement? Yeah, now we're scared to talk to them because da 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 da. I was like, just don't be a creep. Don't be a creep.
Ladies, some of y'all who are watching, y'all have no idea what it's like to have a false accusation pinned on you.
What did you learn going through that?
Never work with women.
Oh, come on.
There's truth in every joke. But it's a sad truth. Like, I will never be alone in a room with a woman that I work with, like ever again.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is your man, Brandon Gio, one half of Residual Impact. Hey, yo, check it. Some of the most recent videos that we worked on lately have touched on SA and potential false allegations. Now, in one of those recent videos, I said that there were so many that we can name, and I actually want to take the time to do that today and in the days to come, because I would like to turn this into a series. Because I want you fellas to be aware of situations that have already happened and what could potentially happen to you if you're not careful. Now, one of the first stories that I want to put out involves this topic that we've actually talked about a couple years ago. In today's day and age, man, it's kind of hard to tell because supposedly, and this is something that a woman had to teach me not too long ago, consent can be withdrawn. So one moment somebody can want to be touched by you or could want something from you in that manner, and the next thing you know, it can be withdrawn. And then some other allegations can come about.
I mean, okay, are we talking about withdrawn within that time frame, or are we talking about withdrawn after things have been
Either or.
You guys remember the Me Too movement and all of those articles that were telling us that you could even revoke your consent after you had already consented to the sex? They were instituting all of these new rules. Men had to ask questions, had to check in even during the act. Are you still consenting? Are we consenting? Have we consented? Did we consent yesterday? Is everybody consenting? I'm not being funny. These are the kinds of things that were being reimagined in the era of #MeToo. Okay, so even if you consented to something at the time, maybe on the inside you were screaming, and you weren't screaming outwardly. You weren't saying no outwardly, but if in your mind, while the act was taking place, you're going, I don't know if I want to do this. Well, who's to say whether or not it was true consent?
then that's kind of shaky then. Like,
It is.
if you say we can do something and we did it, and then 2 days later you're like, know what? I take that back. I don't think we could have done that. And you hurt me. That's not right then at that point.
It's not right. And I'm not saying it was right, but I'm just, in this day and age, man, it's like, I don't know. I try my hardest to keep my hands to myself unless it's like absolutely warranted.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me, to be honest, it reminds me of this story that I heard recently. There were two former Ohio State football players, both age 24, who were recently found not guilty of sexually assaulting a female student who I believe was a freshman at the time, because this happened 3 years ago in 2020. And she accused them of sexually assaulting them. But if you guys have made it this far, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you never miss when we upload a new video for you. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up. It's completely free and it goes a long way.
Also, don't forget to leave a comment, because we like to hear from y'all. We want to know what y'all think. Is the video good? Does it suck? Did you learn something from it? Just say hello. Put a smiley face. I don't care. Just write something. Interact. Communicate. We like those things.
Now back to the video. After the accusation, of course, they got kicked off the football team and they got into some hot water with the law. And they were on trial recently and they were found not guilty because of a key piece of evidence. That key piece of evidence was a video that they had of her consenting to the act.
Witness testimony has now begun in the trial of two former Ohio State football players. They're accused of raping a woman at their off-campus apartment. That was back in 2020.
The victim in this case took to the stand this morning, and NBC4's Matthew Herchick was there and has the details on a difficult day in the courtroom.
Very emotional testimony in the courtroom this morning. The victim in this case, who we are not identifying, fought through many tears as she detailed what happened on that night 3 years ago. The jury also getting their first look at the video that the victim says she was forced to record after the incident took place. During opening statements, the state's prosecutor, Dan Meyer, revealed a brief history between Amir Reep and the victim. Meyer pointing out that the two actually grew up near the same hometown and had exchanged a few messages after she was accepted to Ohio State. Now, according to the prosecution, after making plans to hang out the night of February 4th, 2020, Reep picked the victim up from her dorm and took her back to the apartment he shared with his co-defendant, Jahsen. And the prosecution argues after the two began having consensual sex, the victim told Reep she did not want to continue when he allegedly forced her to continue, with Wendt then later taking part. Now, the state says that Reep then took the victim back to her dorm, and hours later she went to the police. The two turned themselves into police a week later and were kicked off the football team less than 24 hours later.
She sat on the bed expecting to play video games or watch a movie. That was her expectation when she went in. Video games, movie, hanging out.
Doesn't lay a hand on her, doesn't rape her, doesn't hold her down, doesn't force her head in the pillow, does none of that. And I'm going to prove it to you.
Now, before Reep took the victim back to her dorm, the state argues that he coerced the victim into recording a video saying that everything was consensual. Now, the victim says that she only said that so she could get out of there and go home. The defense argues that the video was taken to avoid the situation they're in right now and says Reep voluntarily showed the video to police to try and exonerate them. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you the latest both on air and online at NBC4i.com. Local for you at the Franklin County Courthouse, Matthew Herchick, NBC4.
Yes, this was something that we touched on back in 2023. And as of today, in December 2025, I have no idea what has happened to the young lady who they tried to paint as a victim in this entire situation. But take a quick minute to let me know in the comments what you've noticed about that specific news report. One thing that stuck out to you more than anything. Go ahead, drop it down below in the comment section. Did you get it right? Take a listen again.
The victim in this case, who we are not identifying, fought through many tears as she detailed what happened on that night 3 years ago.
The victim in this case, who we are not identifying. Why not? Both co-defendants were named.
Amir Reep and Jahsen.
We knew the guys' names, but the woman involved in this situation, she was protected. This is one thing that I've noticed in several other stories that are similar to this. And I'm not the only one who's noticed it. There's a fellow YouTuber who pointed it out when she covered a different story where the woman was not named by media.
This article right here was written by Alicia Dixon. She wrote, Detroit police officers were dispatched to a home in the 12,000 block of Wisconsin on Detroit's west side at approximately 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon for reports of a shooting. By the way, this took place on July 30th. Police say the incident appears to be a domestic dispute between the resident of the home and someone who they have a child with. A person who doesn't live at the residence left the home and came back with two men identified as brothers of the person. The three people, police say, agreed to have a fist fight. The disagreement escalated after two people forced themselves into the residence and shots were fired. Police say one victim has died and one person is in critical condition. Both are males. 3 persons of interest have been detained. No further details are known at this time. So, of course, we have another example of how media try to cover up for women. Do you notice the absence of female pronouns or the word woman at all? The word woman was not used once in this article. She wrote men, brothers, male, but left out woman, she, or her, when it was the woman who instigated this whole situation. At first, I'm thinking this must be one of those they, them people. But when the male gender is listed and the female omitted, I'm like, wait, I see what's going on here. Like right here, a person who doesn't live at the residence left the home and came back with 2 men, identified as brothers of the person. Person is used here instead of woman. Not only was it a woman who didn't live at the residence who left the house and came back with her 2 brothers, that's the woman who got these 2 guys to lay their lives down for, getting involved in some BS. And now one is gone, and the other, we're not sure yet if he's going to survive or not. A woman is in the middle of this tragedy, yet the term woman is not even used in the whole story. She's a direct link between all the men involved. She's connected to the 2 men, her 2 brothers, and the 1 man who lived at the residence, her baby's daddy. You see, this is how women will do dirt, and other women in media cover for them.
Now, that's strange to me because, again, those 2 examples right there aren't the only 2 examples that I've noticed where the media has protected the woman who's involved in the situation, essentially protecting the woman who started the whole thing. Pay attention to that the next time you hear a story like this, guys. It happens more than you know. So let's get back to the main story here. One of the key pieces of evidence was the fact that they used Snapchat to record a video of the woman who somebody in one of the comment sections of one of the videos that I found identified her. And it was actually in the news report that I showed a little while ago. But one of the comments mentioned her name, and allegedly it is Samantha Turner. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but it was a comment that was left a few years ago. And it says, her name is Samantha Turner. She lied and ruined these boys' football career. Post that. And other people under that comment said that they've been trying to find the woman's name. They've been trying to identify her. They've been trying to search through Google. But no matter where they looked, because I've done the same thing when I tried to research this, no matter where we looked, we couldn't find her name mentioned anywhere. This was the first time I've seen her name mentioned. And we talked about this story on this channel 2 years ago. The media will protect women even if they're at fault, even if they're lying, unless these women specifically go out there and put their names out there or somebody else does it. They're most likely going to be protected, even if they're the ones who started the entire thing. So fellas, I cover this right here to urge you to protect yourselves. Be careful. When you're dealing with a woman, it's sad that you even have to do something like this, but you're going to have to get all types of evidence to cover yourself to make sure that people know that this was consensual. Messages, videos, NDAs, like whatever you need, whatever you need. And I don't mean to laugh. It's not a laughing matter. But the simple fact that some of you guys may face false allegations brought onto you by a woman, y'all are going to wish that you had the evidence that you need to prove your innocence. But whether you have a mountain of evidence or a small pile of evidence, the simple fact of the matter is that a false allegation, especially coming from a woman, could end your career like that before you were even found innocent. Because like I stated before, we live in a society where Me Too has essentially set a precedent of women are innocent until proven guilty, but men are guilty until proven innocent. Now, the most recent update that I've seen regarding this story was when these 2 brothers went on the Pivot podcast back in 2023. And here's what they had to say.
After thinking I potentially can have an opportunity at the pros, if not, you got your degree, you know, and then 2020 happens. Exactly. And then you're like, shit, is this the Twilight Zone? Just going back, you know, and beginning and thinking that you're living a nightmare, how abrupt was that moment when, you know, all of that just took off and took place?
Especially when we got inside of jail, it was more like this is really happening, you know, and then getting up to that cell and it's just like you watching your life flicker on the TV in the cell and you just can't say nothing about it. You know, you can't defend yourself.
Prior to the cell part, when you got a call and say, look, we were accused of, you know, this crime. Yeah. You know, just to even receive that phone call, did you guys once think like, this is crazy?
I was pissed. I was pissed. Like I was just like, are you like, female, you crazy? You know, like I was really mad. You know, they came, knocked on my door. Like we didn't even get I didn't get a call. They came, knocked on my door and nobody knocks on my door. So I'm like, who is that? And then I seen detectives and I was just like, what are y'all doing here? You know? So then they told me what happened. I'm just like, wow, like that's crazy.
Yeah, so what was crazy to me, even when they came, police in front of me, everything, I'm still asking, like, why y'all here? What happened? Like, I'm not even thinking of that situation. Like, it's just a shock. I'm confused, trying to figure out what's really going on. Like, you know, every athlete, you hear something about this, you're like, it would never be me. You know what I mean? It would never be me. And we came to be, it became us. But definitely did not think it would ever be me.
And here's the thing about that, gentlemen. This is going to be the last note that I'm going to leave on. Like I said before, a false accusation can ruin your life before you're even found to be innocent. All right. Granted, if you're out there doing wrong and somebody accuses you of that wrongdoing and you're found guilty because you did something wrong, you should face all the consequences that are coming to you because you should have never done anything stupid to begin with. However, if you're innocent and somebody, in this case, a woman, says that you did something to her that was 100% consensual, but she spun it as if it was completely against her will and she's lying on you, that could really ruin you. You can lose everything and it'll be so hard to build it back. It'll be so hard to get your reputation back because it'll be tarnished, first of all. It'll be so hard to get a career back if you've lost it. I mean, it's a lot that these guys have to go through. So one thing that we like to say on this channel is good to learn from experience, but it's even better to learn from other people's experiences. And that's why we do a lot of the reaction videos that we do, so that you can learn from other people's experiences and not have to experience it for yourself. So fellas, I want you to take the time to let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section, because we will be revisiting another story like this pretty soon. Because I think that a lot of young brothers out there need to learn from other people's mistakes. Let me know what you guys think though. Do you want to see more stories like this? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank each and every single one of you guys for tapping in today. If you've made it this far, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, all of the above. And we look forward to putting out more content for you in the future. All right. Again, it's your man, Brandon Gio, and you know I can't leave without saying, where you are today is a residual outcome of the thoughts you had in the past. Till next time. Peace.